there's 3 categories of ways to approach stress. Maybe you'll see yourself in one of these. So the first group are the people who are stressed and they are okay with it. Somewhere in their career development, they learned and decided it was okay that to be successful required a sacrifice, and that sacrifice is being stressed. They will say things like, when I retire, then I won't be stressed. Anybody ever heard somebody say, when I retire? Who's waiting on retirement to get their stress under control? Or when we get through this project, then I'll do that. When we get one more staff person, then I'll do that. Now, within this group, there is a subgroup of people who are so stressed, they don't actually even know it. They just think it's the way it is. But they have no idea that their stress levels are negatively impacting their performance at work, their relationships, and their overall health. So that's group 1. And one of the reasons I think people will be in there is because they're still young enough to have energy to stay there. Do you remember those days? Not all of you are as old as I am, but do you remember the days when you just were naively energetic and you just were okay with, like, I'm going to grind, I'm going to do the 18-hour days, I'm going to go? Maybe not quite as good when we get older into our career. But often what happens is something. It's called life. And it will push us into the second category, which is we are stressed and no longer okay with it. The sacrifice of stress is no longer something we are willing to do. And this could be, like, I've had phone calls from people, hitting a big birthday and saying, look, I don't want to spend the last decades, like the way I spent the last decade working and grinding, for the last 2 decades of my career. And so they start seeking solutions. And if you are in this category, please know you are going to walk away today and get really excited because you're going to see it's easier than you think. To finally get over to group number 3. Ding! And group number 3, these are the people who just aren't stressed. And let me clarify what I mean by that, because it's not that they're not stressed. It's not that they're not dealing with problems. It's that their stress levels are not negatively impacting their performance, their relationships, and their health. This, when we can hang out here, I like to call it the sweet spot of performance, productivity, profitability, and personal fulfillment. Even if I didn't explain what that is, wouldn't it be great if you just lived your life there? What if your team did? Wouldn't that be even better? Right? It's a really cool way. And when you're here, and I suspect as business owners, many of you are, as leaders, it's really about optimizing. It's about, how do I do what I'm doing just a little bit better? How do I get to be a little bit happier in the work I do? Now, there are some people who are born into group number 3. I am not one of those